That was the tune of today. How are you, my friends? I don't know. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not that good. Maybe that is for another day. In Paris, we will never find out if we don't search. So today is more clouded. Yesterday it was bright sky without any clouds on the scenery. Today is a dark day. Dark day. It is snowing and cold. It's cold, chilly, wet, and -7 degrees. Yesterday was 8 or 10. I don't remember. What about the topic? You will ask immediately. Even if you see what's on the topic header, we have to find out what we can't see in advance. But the prophets in the Israel community, they could see. And whatever they saw, they told. They could see in advance whatever was shown to them. They told, like this guy, this Joseph. He had this naivistic view on the world. Joseph had these dreams. He called them dreams. And Samuel too had this dream, or he was woken up, but Samuel, not Samuel, or the prophet Eli, the priest Eli, he couldn't understand. And the brothers of Joseph, they too didn't really understand what was the case, because in their heart it was this stubbornness, this arrogancy, that they knew best and they wanted to protect themselves from this awkward guy. So let me state this topic now. I think this is the right topic. To be awkward. To be awkward. Maybe people will say, oh, this is the right topic for Ole. To be awkward. This is this is a good topic. To be awkward. Or a nuisance. to be topic or a nuisance. Because you say something and it doesn't fall in good soil. And I had this father that said to me, when it is received with joy, whatever you say, when it's received, embraced with sanctification and glorious praise, you can say that this is from God. No, I rather be awkward. Someone that is embarrassed himself. Embarrassed. Let me Google that. I can't find my translator. I think this is the best thing here. This should work. Yes, to be awkward or embarrassed. Now this was a good topic because I get messages all over. Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever, Facebook. I get the messages. And I would say Mr. Joseph embarrassed himself when the wife of Pharaoh, wife of Pharaoh, wanted to, or the other wife, wanted to have her way with him. He ran away. Awkwardly, he was in that situation. He didn't want to do any wrongdoing, other than doing the right thing. Even though it was maybe very tempting to be with this wife, and she claimed that he have embarrassed her. So, my friends, it is part of life to be embarrassed or awkward. Life is awkward. So my father said this: if your messages is received with love, with gratifications, then sanctions. Let me read it for you so that you may know.
Sanctioned.
That it is sanctioned. If you say something that is sanctioned in the church, you should know or better understand that this is from God. What you have to say is from God. And I think he just was so awkward. He gave no chance. It was no chance for anyone to talk in any which way, because if you did say something that was wrong, you shouldn't even have said it. That was his way. He was very embarrassed by himself when he said something that people reacted to. He tormented himself in a way that I think that was part of his problem, lifelong problem, that he never got confirmed as the boy child he lost his father at the age of 16. And what we need to do with our children is confirm and bless them, despite what they choose. Even if they are not obeying, as you would say, use that word in good or bad situation, in any situation, the sons and daughters have to obey. But if they even don't obey, you keep them blessed. All what a father and mother can do is bless their children, because they are a blessing. So, children that feel awkward about themselves stems more or less from the part that was denied of being themselves by their parents. How awkward is that? How awkward is to deny their children to be who they are. So in my case, that was a little bit embarrassing. Not to say something bad about my parents, no, it's just how it was. Who would have it differently? Anyway, you are given the parents you have, and the way they are, they give you a path, either to follow them or to change their own path by doing life in a better way, better understanding, better reflections, and maybe my father was very judgmental. He didn't give many good attributes. He felt that he was hunted more or less by everyone, and I think he lacked this ability to stand up for himself. That's how you become a little bit humiliating to other people. So when people doesn't reflect over these issues, as if I were even more tormenting my children. And my father mentioned to me that the sins of the fathers is inherited by their sons, their own children. So that is more or less Mr. Joseph was maybe loved by his father, but hated by his brothers. They did wrong to Joseph. They speak to other people about Joseph that this is not our brother, this is a slave. You can have him for so and so many shekels, silver coins. That was his siblings. That's how awkward he was. And even prophets in Israel had to die because their brethren didn't accept the words. You see, the problem with the people that are a little bit awkward or embarrassed, when people are embarrassed by someone, it is more or less by their speaking, their preach, their messages, that is so profound, different, and contrary to whatever others may have as a message. Many doesn't even have a message. I was listening to a preacher now that he was talking about talking, not having even a message that was profoundly clear. So I listened eagerly to this preacher, which couldn't even establish what he was talking about. I think many people like to talk about themselves, never reach the point, never come to any issues that is necessary to talk about. They talk. Priests tend to talk about biblical topics. They read from the Bible and talk about it in a very isolated way, as if they couldn't derive anything to the real life. It is just a topic, not relevant. It's just relevant for the intellectual mind. So that if you understand it, you are happy. If you don't understand it, you just go home and feel awkward and feel ashamed of yourself that you couldn't even fathom what this preacher was bubbling about. So, my friends, preachers that are preaching the gospel should learn one thing, that they have a profound message, that they need to... You see, many prophets died. And I think in many prophets' life, their messages had to be implemented in their own life. I think to be a prophet is a twilight zone between doing right and showing an example of what is bad. Doing wrong, just for the sake of a message to be clear. So many prophets did odd things, embarrassing things, and mainly the false prophets like me or someone else, their messages was profoundly nice, as my father wanted to have it. That was the false prophets that was embraced, hugged and loved by the people, because the false prophet said something that people like to hear, like promises, that God said this, God said that, and you will be prosperous and rich. And they may have been converting the real prophets to make false hopes. And some rabbis say that that hope, that is not, if you are disappointed because you hoped so much that things is going to happen, that is tormenting the heart. So to be odd and awkward and embarrassed is somewhat a hard situation. I can put the topic up again and show you. to be awkward and embarrassed. That is how many people, maybe whistleblowers the most, because they have to stick themselves out. They have to go against colleagues. They have to go against the community. They have to be clear in their message. And it takes time to be clear when you have a message to convey. So prophets, or people that mainly are looked at as awkward, they say something that people mainly doesn't like to hear. And they are pushed down and isolated and labeled as negative, as they did in this church of Bethany in Kongsberg. They labeled those that criticized as negative. How awkward of them, how silly, how stupid, because it proves a big point, that they never understood anything about the message. I give them that it was not clear enough so that even they could understand. But most people that came to me, those that consent with my message, they came to me. Those that didn't consent to my message or disliked me, they were so scared of. They talked about me in behind my back. I feel awkward about them because how cowardly that is. So people that are so strange in their community should be appreciated. People should get to know those awkward people because they have something very unique to them. Very unique and profound. And I bet that if someone said something that everyone reacted to, that seems to be a little bit peculiar and interesting. For me, that is interesting because what did I hear now? What was the message? I couldn't really grasp the message that was conveyed, so I had to ask again and again in order to get it straight. So people that have some kind of awkwardness to them, it's not just that everyone doesn't like them, they have some awkwardness to them that is hard to get to know. It's hard to get to know them personally. I can't talk on my own behalf, but which regards to others, but for me it is a brave act of social activity that I approach those that seems to be hard to get. It's sticking yourself out, that you are together with someone that is labeled in advance. So that is the topic of today, to be awkward or embarrassed by the pure nature of who you are. That is something that should be paid attention to, because this is life. This is how life is. People are who they are. And to wait for this embracing moment that people embrace what you say, that is quite cowardly, as my father wanted me to do. Say something when people are able to receive it, and say it in a way that people may embrace it. That is completely out of order. To see in advance what is happening, how people will react, what message to say, to convey, like the prophet did back in those days. They saw in advance something that no one could see. No one could... they understood it, but they didn't get the warning. And I think there are more warnings today, because there is a people that in many people's regard are awkward, are embarrassing themselves. It's Israel. And Israel is this awkward failure that from a distance, when you hear about them, you will immediately condemn. But when you get to know Israel, it is the polar opposite. It is those that hate Israel that is so awkward. Today, you have a choice. I would say you have a choice. What kind of a choice regarding Israel do we have? Because there is a choice of life and death. Now, to be silent. If you are silent, you are a bystander. You are afraid. I can say so much that the people that are silenced are afraid. And that's the reason why we have prophets. Because we have people, so many people that are silenced. That's the reason for prophets. And when mainstream preachers in the Pentecostal movement or others are just using words and praising something that is shown in the Bible, not applying in the reality of their life. You see in the first chapter or verses in the book of John, it's stated that the Word became flesh. And not only talking about Jesus here, but the word of Torah have to be planted in you as a seed. That's the living word. And when the Christians have forgotten even how to speak, how to preach to the people so they can wake up, that's the time for the prophets to arrive on the scene and say you have no choice. You have a choice now that either it's for life or death. And if you are silenced, that's the time for the prophets. And you can't just be a follower. You have to be a believer. You have to be a spokesperson or conveyor of the truth. Okay, my friends, it's a good day. And be clear when you are talking, when you are writing. Be blessed. Shalom.